Okay, so what you can see here is Citrix Cloud Admin console, where Peter is finding a right tile, a microapp tile, clicks the Manage button. That brings him to this nice landing page. He clicks the Manage button, and he needs to add integration. So he clicks Add Integration, and he chooses HTTP integration, which he needs to configure. So first, he needs to put a name there. Okay, so we are going to build a Zendesk integration based on HTTP integration. So the microapp that we will create will talk to Zendesk, and it will be possible to file a Zendesk ticket from a microapp. So Peter put their base URL. Now he needs to configure service authentication. So he chooses OAuth2, puts grant type, token URL, scope, client ID, client secret, and some other important parameters. And now he has to log in with a service account. So service account will be used for pulling out the data from Zendesk. So it happened. He had credentials stored in his vault, so it was very seamless. And now he adds the integration. In the second step, he has to configure data loading. So he has to configure the right endpoint that integration will talk to be able to pull out the data from Zendesk. So he puts the name, he puts endpoint URI. He needs to choose the right method for that, HTTP method. And eventually, he needs to set parameters if needed. So he's configuring the pagination type of link and JSON path to next page link parameter. And he tests the service. So yeah, we got HTTP 200 status, so it worked well. We see the data service response, so we see what the endpoint response was. And now he needs to load tables. Load tables calls the endpoint, parses the response, and pre-creates a data structure. HTTP integration is able or understands the nested JSON. So as you can see, it creates 3 tables from from 3 levels of nesting. Peter has to set the primary key, so he ticks ID. For the other tables, there are foreign keys already created because it's the result of JSON parsing. So the keys are set. He adds the table. So we have data structures to store the data that endpoint returns back to us. Now we need to configure service action. Service action is, again, API call that will enable us, or that will write back the data to Zendesk. So we are about to configure create ticket API call. So when the end user will fill in the form, hit submit button, that service action will perform API call to Zendesk, sends the data in a payload, and creates a ticket. So Peter put their endpoint URI, request method, and now he needs to put a few parameters. So header parameter to set a content type, and few body parameters, and JSON body for payload. So he had 3 parameters: subject, description, and priority, if I remember correctly. So all of them need to be required. So without them, we would not be able to perform a call and create a ticket. Now he needs to put a JSON body there, which will be part of a call, and he hits add button to add a service action. Cool. So now we have connector created, we have a service action configured, so we are able to pull out the data from Zendesk, as well as we are able to write the data back to Zendesk. Now the next step is to create a microapp. So Peter is creating 2 microapps. One will be for creating a Zendesk ticket. The other one will be or will have notification event set there. So we will generate a card about the new Zendesk ticket created in Zendesk into the feed. So Peter puts the name to the app, chooses some nice icon. Now he needs to create a page. So he needs to create a form which user will fill in and finally submit to generate or to create a Zendesk ticket. So he chooses page type form. He ticked out the field, so we will not create or fill in the form with the fields. He will do it manually for you to see. So he needs to add 3 input components. So one for subject, the other one for description, and third one for priority. Yeah, he sets the parameters. So he sets that I'm sorry, those fields are required. So the user is not able to submit the form until those fields are filled in. So he is pre-filling currently the drop-down box with the types of priority. So the end user can finally choose from the priorities pre-filled in that drop-down box. So form is already created, or almost. Now we have a button there. The button will serve for submitting the form, and we have to set a button so it calls the action that Peter has configured in HTTP integration. Now we have submit ticket, or he changed the name of button. He needs to choose the service action for that button. So button can call service action, but also button can, for example, serve as go-to page. So when hitting the button, the different page can appear. So Peter has chosen the service action. Now he needs to configure the parameters of that service action. So he chooses for all 3 parameters the values that parameters will be filled with. So he's mapping those parameters to components, and we will set the component values with the service action as a part of API call to Zendesk. Okay, we're done. Now let's create a different or another microapp, a microapp that will have event set there. So as soon as the new ticket appears in a Zendesk, notification card will be generated informing the user about new Zendesk ticket. Also, it will provide detail for the ticket. So again, Peter sets the name, sets the icon. Now he will create a page to display the details of the new ticket. So he chooses a type page page type detail. He chooses the fields that will be displayed there. Okay, and behind the scenes, the detail page was generated with the fields Peter has chosen. Now we need to configure event. So he chooses the record type, or the type of record we will be, or event engine will be looking at, and it's new record. So event engine will try to identify new records. So every new record that will appear in tickets table that we fill in from Zendesk will generate a card. So now he needs to set a card layout. He needs to put the right information to a card. Oh, something went wrong. So right now he's configuring when the notification engine will run. It will run after integration will synchronize the data from Zendesk. He fills card title as well as card body. And you can see the curly brackets, and those are being used as a placeholders, so we can replace those with the real values from a database, from a cache. And now he said what happens when the user clicks the card. So when the user clicks the card, it will show, or it will go to a page ticket detail and display the ticket detail page in a blade. Cool, so I think we're done. Now, now we need to choose a subscriber from Active Directory to subscribe the user that will be able or allowed to see the microapp. Okay, we're done. Cool. So now Peter will log in to Workspace client. Okay, on the right-hand side, he sees available action, create ticket. The form that he created pops up in a blade. So he fills the form. And submits. Here we go. So now we will prove that a service action worked in Zendesk. So ticket should appear there. Here we are. So that's the ticket we have created in a microapp, or from a microapp in a Zendesk. Cool. Now let's synchronize the data back from a Zendesk, and let's see And let's see how the card or notification card will be generated, informing the user about the new ticket. So Peter triggers synchronization process manually by hitting the play button. Okay. Synchronization was successful. So let's see the feed. Yeah, here we are. We have a tickets, or the cards about the tickets, new tickets, and we have details. So as soon as Peter clicked on a card, the blade pops up with the ticket details. Okay, that's it.